Hello and welcome, it's me, LinkingX2, back again with another draft review. This time it's T1 versus Afreeca Freaks. T1, after dropping down 1 Kia last week on the back of Carrier's very great Thresh performance, are now looking to continue their win streak and move up to the upper echelons after they have tied down 1 Kia with the 7-5 score. Afreeca Freaks, just behind them with a 6-5 score, obviously have played one series less. But Afreeca also struggling a bit in the points department, so they're looking to get a good win here to catch up to T1 and down 1 Kia. But before we get right into the draft, I again advise you to check down in the description for my social links, any of that good shit, Twitter, Twitch. And yeah, while you're down there, subscribe for more draft reviews. But getting right into it, we are already seeing here T1 banning a few of the champions they really like to ban. Renekton obviously famously being banned by T1 in the first half of summer. In the later series, we have seen the priority of that pick drop, but it is a new patch 11.14, so maybe they have assessed the power of Renekton again and are now evaluating him as very strong. The Leona and the Xin Zhao are also two bans that T1 usually has, but in different scenarios. Leona is often a phase 2 ban, and Xin Zhao is more a ban that T1 bans on the red side instead of the blue side. So we see they have approached the patch differently, or maybe this is with the new coaching staff, they have moved priorities to different areas. On the other side, Afreeca banning Viego, Irelia and Jace. So Jace obviously a target ban against Canna, who has played Jace in the last million matches probably, and to a great extent. So finally we see from an opponent the adaptation to ban just the Jace. Canna has other champions, but of course the Jace is his number 1 pick. The Irelia is something of a patch OP pick at the moment. At the current live patch 11.15 I think, she was already being nerfed, but on this patch she should be quite powerful, especially with her mini rework or mini changes, right? And Viego needs no introduction, gets nerfed on live patch, but on this patch he is still very strong. Still value the Gwen higher than him, but the X factor that the Viego has with the pop-offs in teamfights, that's something that couldn't be underestimated, and also T1 has shown to be very flexible with the pick. So far bans are more decent and make a bit of sense. T1 first picking the Diana here for Oner makes quite a lot of sense. Xin Zhao is being banned, and also Viego is off the table, so jungle priority on Diana rises quite a bit, and with quite a few AD champions in the solo lanes that are decently powerful at the moment. AP champions in the jungle like Diana rise up, and Diana obviously very strong in nearly all stages of the game at the moment, if paired up with a decent team coordination. Her early game is not that bad, and then in the mid game skirmishes as like a bruiser assassin, obviously raking havoc, scales wonderfully. Diana overall a great champion at the moment if played around correctly. Aphelios, Lee Sin are the answers for Afreeca. Aphelios probably being picked up here to deny the Aphelios Thresh bot lane from T1. And then the Lee Sin overall as a power pick can obviously go in a multitude of positions, even though at the moment jungle Lee Sin is the most common one. And with the Orianna being locked in here for Fly, it is quite likely that Lee Sin will end up in the jungle in Dread's hands. And the Lee Sin versus Diana, quite different champions here. One stronger early, one stronger later, and in the mid game both are quite powerful. Yes, the item changes make it so that Lee Sin doesn't fall off as much in the later game stages, but Diana more reliably powerful in these 30+ minute game stages. I mentioned T1 is looking to draft AD solo lanes with the Diana to amplify her power. But this would also mean that Diana would be the only AP source, and the only AP source from the jungle. That's always a bit risky, right? Because jungle is the role that is more or less the easiest to shut down with good team play, right? It's not easy if the team level gap between Team A and Team B is too great, then obviously that is not reliable to shut down the jungler, that is. But in cases where the teams are closer in skill level, which I would say on a team basis, we could assume T1 and Afreeca are not too far away, at least T1 has been inconsistent. So picking another AP champion in the Ryze here for FAKER makes sense, even though it would hamper Diana's assassination per power quite a bit. But obviously FAKER, having played Ryze nearly in all the matches in the past few series, unless it was banned. Kia obviously banned him once. I think that might be around it. FAKER and Canna got their champions nearly all the time. In the second ban phase, T1 banning the Thresh, which makes sense. Aphelios is being picked, and Thresh is nearly the only support that really goes well with them. We have seen Tahm Kench being tried, but players aren't really adapt to the new Tahm Kench. The Gangplank here against Gnar also is kind of fine, and Gangplank against champions like the Ryze wouldn't really wouldn't be too great for FAKER here. And on the other side, AD carry bans the Kalista and the Varus, with Aphelios already being picked up. Then Afreeca Freaks locked in the Volibear here, which is a blast of the past, but Dread quite familiar with the champion. And on the other side, T1 locking in the bot lane Ashe Braum. So a very strong utility bot lane, but also offers quite a bit of damage in early and mid game stages, right? Ashe, you are surprised by the damage output she can offer, and Braum, on the earlier levels, his base damage is not that useless, even though he's a defensive support, and his passive obviously cheats damage, right? If you're CC'd, the enemy can hit you more. So just to mention it here, you see it on the screen. You see it. Afreeca Freaks locking in the Yuumi last. Yuumi Aphelios, so they're sacrificing quite a bit of power here as enchanters. Well, yes, they are usually like Yuumi as enchanter poke, right? Are good against tank supports in general, right? In the lane dynamics, poke and the tank can't do anything. But I feel with Gumayusi and Carry also being better players, or at least that's what we usually would assume, right? That day-to-day performance still matters. The Aphelios lane, not the greatest idea. I think you're sacrificing too much, and while the Hands is probably the best Yuumi in the world, not too sure about this one. I think they're sacrificing too much early. Later on, Aphelios and Volibear with a Yuumi, that's not as sexy to deal with. And in the end, it also comes down with the Volibear that we see the Lee Sin top lane. Lee Sin top lane against the Gnar. That has been a matchup in favor for the Lee Sin. But that was at MSI, right? Where Lee Sin was on the height of his power, at least in the solo lanes. So now we have to reevaluate that matchup, and well, we have to see actually, because T1 usually throws most of their attention up to Canna, so we can't really assume that it will be a 1v1, and in the 2v2 I would more or less give the advantage to Afreeca, because well, Volibear is way stronger than Diana early on. Other than that, if we look at Afreeca's team comp, we see a good team fighting comp, right? Frontlining champions, a bit of dive, poke, sustain, wombo combo ultimates. So Afreeca quite open with their strategy. Scale till level 6, and then maybe fight first dragon or something like that, and then scale some more, fight team fights 5v5. Well, T1, yes, they also have team fight tools, but champions like the Ryze obviously famously are very potent in the split push scenario. So T1 not really doubling down on one strategy, but leaving it open a bit more. We have to now evaluate, is that better? And that mostly depends on how they play the game, right? If they play towards the strategies that counter Afreeca Freak strengths, then that's going to work. Otherwise, Wait a second. Okay. Was looking here. Witnessing Gumayusi and Carrier completely take control of the bot lane. And yeah, with Ashe pick potential as well. That is something T1 also gets in their comp, pick potential. So yeah, T1 has a bit more tools, but Afreeca has a very strong hammer, if you want to compare that. Depending on Snowball, till these level 6 5v5 skirmishes or fights, I would assume that based on laning powers, Afreeca Freaks in most lanes has an advantage, but that is based on the champions. We look at the players, yeah, it's a bit of a different story. But that's it so far with the evaluation here and reaction time. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit me up with a like and maybe consider subscribing to not miss out on part 2, right? It's a series, it's the best of. We get another draft at least. And yeah, we see each other then. And yeah, hope you're having a great time till then and hope you enjoy the game. And